Hey YouTube, I wanted to show the repair process I'm going to do for this LiftMaster garage door lock. So this is the LiftMaster 841LM. It's a door lock that's commonly used in conjunction with the jack shaft opener. So all the way up here I have a LiftMaster 8500W that operates my door, which has been working great. And I've had this in a previous home, and I loved it. But the other day, went to open the door, and this deadbolt was not retracting. And of course, that means the door would open about an inch and slam and stop. And when I tried to figure out what was going on, this actually wouldn't even retract manually. I had to force it. And of course now, you can hear it's not really doing anything in there. That definitely means some gears got stripped. These are apparently notoriously unreliable. And LiftMaster sells replacements for $120, and they only offer like a 1-year warranty on them. So you're going to be guaranteed to replace it again because they seem to be failing even with the replacements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and show you how to repair this for less than 1/10 of the cost. So to remove it is a little bit tricky because the wire is going to be probably hardwired into your garage door opener, and mine's also stapled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this case apart here so I can cut the wires internally to this, so I don't have to splice any wire out externally to it. And then I'm going to take this off and put this on the bench where I got better light, and I can show you how to do that. To remove it from the door itself, you got 2 screws above and below. I only have 1 in it for right now. But so I'm going to take this off, bring it down to the bench where I can show you. All right, down here on the bench where life's a little bit easier, I can show you how to take this apart off your door. So the first thing you'll probably have to do is remove these 2 screws that hold it to the rail. In my case, one of them was stripped, but came out. And then we need to separate the lid from the base. So the lid is the piece that has the sticker on it here. And in my door, in my orientation, it's the back. So to take the lid off, you have to remove this handle. There's a small screw on the bottom of it that goes up through. This screw is actually bigger than the hole. I'm not sure why they did that. So you can't get the screw all the way out. You have to take the screw until it's fully loose and remove, and then the handle will slide off like that. You're going to want to remove the top and bottom screws. So I left the top one in here for you. So we'll take these guys out. These are going to be metal threaded, like the handle screw. And then there's 2 screws in the back here, and these are for plastic threaded. So remove those 2 screws, and then your lid will come off, and your wire will have a little flex in piece. What I'm trying to strain relief. That's what I'm thinking of. It's a strain relief molded into it that slides into this slot. You'll have to pull that out of it. And then from the inside here, you can see what we got going on. And if you're in the automotive field, you probably immediately recognize what this is. But I cut the wires down here, and then that way I can join my wires in here and tuck them inside, and they'll be out of the way. So the locking mechanism is actually pretty cool. It's pretty robust, I'd say. It's more than I was expecting. I think it's a steel rod, but I'm not sure. It might be chrome plated, maybe, because there's the bushings it's riding on look like they're just steel. And then it uses this nice spring as a toggle to keep it in and out. So then the part that fails, of course, is this part, the motor. And when I open this up, I immediately recognize this as a door lock actuator for a car. And these are what are considered the universal or generic ones, or anytime you had a vehicle like a street rod or a muscle car or something like that, and you wanted to add power locks to it, typically the way you do that is with one of these universal kits, and they would typically ship one of these style door lock actuators. It's a simple linear actuator. It takes 12 volts, which is actually stamped someplace on this, DC 12 volt. And the way they retract and extend is just by changing the polarity that's going across it. So it's very simple. I think these were originally GM door lock actuators for many, many years across many different models, and that's why it became kind of like the de facto universal one, because they were so available. So the thing is, these things do not cost $120. I went on to Amazon, and you can get a kit, door lock actuator kit. This is the Install Gear. I'll put a link in the description. This is from Install Gear. It comes with 2 kits plus a whole bunch of hardware and mounting hardware and screws and stuff for if you're actually using it as a door lock actuator. And this came with 2 of them for $12 shipped. So, now the trouble is I don't know the longevity of this model compared to this one. You can probably try and look around and try and find heavy duty versions. They might have more, pounds of force in order to open and close the lock. I'm not sure what this one was, but it stripped out the gears and seems to be the common failure on it, because a lot of times I think people also find these cases crack apart, and their quick solution is just to try and zip tie it back together, but that's not going to hold. Eventually the gears will strip out, especially the case is cracked where everything can kind of move and get out of alignment. But this will be a direct placement in. So I'm just going to take this screw out here, and then the other 2 screws here, and this guy should just pop right in, judging by all the alignment here. It's kind of clever, I guess you could say, because LiftMaster just grabbed it must have Googled, door lock actuator, and then these popped right up because they're very, very, very common. Oh, that's a straight edge. Well, this also has, I wonder if this will come out. Yeah, it does. So this has a swivel on it, which is just keyed in to the rod, so it's designed to come apart, and that's what I noticed on this one too. Honestly, it looks like it's pretty much the same, so maybe I don't have to take that screw out. Probably not. Kind of looks like no. Yep, popped right in. And let's see, will my holes align? Oh, because I was wondering, it felt like it was not quite aligned, but I don't think it was fully. I think when I took the door lock out, I can double check the video, this retracted some more than what it was normally, so I thought this wasn't going to line up, but no, it's going to be flush enough, because once this is mounted on your door rail, then this part of the bolt will be fine. So yeah, now we're just going to take these 2 screws and put them right back in. Let's grab and see what this does now. Now the one unknown with this, I've already tried this motor on a 12 volt power supply, and I think it has enough velocity to retract it. Some of them you might come across where they're like really geared down motors or something like that, and they might take a little bit of time to unlock, but these ones seem direct. They don't seem to take any significant amount of time. And the only trouble then is just trying to figure out the polarity. I'm going to assume these are kind of similar. Green is one direction. I don't know why they did yellow, but they did green and blue on here. Green's going into the bottom, just like it is on this. So I'm going to assume that's going to be the same. So what I'm going to do, though, is These came with some nice push style round connectors, so I'm going to crimp these guys, which are the female ends of it, crimp them right onto the wires that come in here, and then I'll be able to just push on. And if I need to change this motor out, then I don't need to cut any more wires, and also I'll be able to swap polarity if I find they're going in the wrong direction. So I will put this back together and bring it out to the garage, crimp these ends on to the wires, and test it before I actually mount it onto the rail. And that way I make sure it's retracting when the door thinks it should be retracting and stuff like that, and don't have any unexpected surprises. So yeah, that's gonna work, and that should give me, yeah, you can actually hear the motor now, because this guy is just completely stripped. Yep. All right, so let me put this back together, bring it back up to the garage, and we'll test it out and see how it does. Garage with a minor change-up plan. So for the wires out here, as you can see, I did cut them back past this, I think, a solder joint. You could go up here and solder them in. These wires are polarized, as you can see, white and black there, and then the green yellow down to them. I did change out my connectors plan because those circular connectors just would not fit well on this gauge of wire. I had a bunch of these spade connectors, so I went with those down in the red size, which is far more appropriate for that wire gauge, and hooked them up to my motor. So this allows me at least to quickly disconnect and reconnect if this motor decides to go bad. But anyways, so motor connected. This is extended like it would be locked. So if I open my door here, it retracts. And that's open. So now when it closes, yeah. So that's nice. Like I said, I'll leave a description where you can find these ones. And you can get them cheaper if you look around. So I saw packs of 4 of them for like $16, which is $4 a lock. But that's a lot better than the 120. And maybe this will last longer. Maybe. Anyways, I'm going to put this back together and tuck these wires inside, maybe zip tie them a little bit or something to keep them out of the, the mechanism. But otherwise, just throw it back in and we're ready to rock. Out of curiosity, I put the old motor actuator into a vise of knowledge, and yeah, the pinion gear completely disintegrated, kind of what I thought. This is the rack. The motor drives up to this metal gear that then drives the outside of this pinion gear to reduce it down, and the pinion gear is just in little bits and pieces inside of here, so it's all down to there. That's what's left of it. That's what happened.